We've gotten very lucky, or maybe better said, we are very fortunate that as soon as December 11th or 12th, we are expecting that people will start to be vaccinated with one of two coronavirus vaccines that are believed to be 95% efficacious in preventing coronavirus. Now, with flu vaccines and other vaccines, we very often don't have near 95% effective vaccines. And we are on the path to having multiple such vaccines for coronavirus. The AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine also announcing today that their data shows it is a 90% effective vaccine. So we are on the way to very soon having two vaccines going in the US. There's this third vaccine, which has a slightly different timeline that should be available relatively soon. And yet, herd immunity is still going to be in jeopardy because of existing anti-vaccine sentiment, which could absolutely explode once the vaccine is available. So there's good news and there's bad news here. Let's go over everything we know. Pfizer and Moderna each have coronavirus vaccines said to be 95% effective. Huge, based on phase 3 clinical trials. Now, the FDA and independent review groups are going to be meeting for 3 days, December 8, 9, and 10, to decide about reviewing the data and potentially granting an emergency use authorization on one or both of these vaccines. If they do that on December 10th, you could see people being vaccinated on December 11th or December 12th. We desperately need vaccines. The virus is out of control. We had a 24-hour period this weekend with 200,000 new cases. We have had 1,600 to 2,000 people dying per day, once again, in the US of the virus. And yet, according to the latest Gallup poll, 42% of Americans say they would not get the vaccine if there was an FDA-approved vaccine today. That's really bad, because if not enough people get this vaccine, we are not going to get to herd immunity. And Dr. Anthony Fauci talked about this over the weekend when he appeared on CBS's Face the Nation. Let's listen to him explain it.
To the hope. The scientific advisor to Operation Warp Speed said this morning we could have true herd immunity take place somewhere in the month of May as the vaccine is distributed. Does America go back to life as normal in May?
I don't think so, unless we do, and I believe you're referring to Monsef Salawi,
yes,
who said that, and I totally agree with him. But there are a couple of things that go into the effectiveness of a vaccine program. A highly efficacious vaccine, and we're there. We have two of them that have a 95% efficacy. The other part of the equation is how many people get vaccinated. So if you have a highly efficacious vaccine and only a relatively small 40–50% of the people get vaccinated, you're not going to get the herd immunity you need. What we do need is we need to get as many people as possible vaccinated. And that's why we want to be very transparent for people to understand the independent and transparent process that got us to the point of saying, which the FDA will examine it very carefully now, together with advisory committees that are completely independent, and declare with an EUA and ultimately a license that the vaccines are safe and effective. When the American public hears that, you should be assured that that is the case. And if you get an overwhelming majority of the people vaccinated with a highly efficacious vaccine, we can reasonably quickly get to the herd immunity that would be a blanket of protection for the country.
So, of course, he's right. And people saying that this vaccine was rushed, it wasn't rushed. This is a type of vaccine based on an mRNA platform that just takes less time to develop than traditional vaccines. The traditional coronavirus vaccines are also being developed. We're expecting them in the second half of 2021. This was not rushed, and anti-vaxxers are going to be going absolutely crazy as these vaccines roll out. And add to that, people who just don't think coronavirus is serious enough to warrant getting a vaccine. Why? Well, because Donald Trump has been downplaying it for a long time. Now, of course, there will be anti-vaxxers fear-mongering about mandatory vaccines. There is not going to be a mandatory coronavirus vaccine. What you will be seeing and we're already starting to see it, is that many sports venues, concert venues, hopefully even airlines, we've heard from Qantas, which said they will be doing this, public schools maybe, who will say after a certain date, you need proof of vaccination to attend, come to a concert, go to school here, fly on our airline. You don't have to get a vaccine, but if you want to choose to come to a sports game here or fly on our airline, you will have to have a vaccine. Ticketmaster already announcing they are rolling out the infrastructure to be able to do that. Qantas, so far, the first airline I'm aware of that announced that that is something they're planning to do. I'm hopeful that that will encourage, sort of like as a carrot rather than a stick, more vaccination. And of course, the difference between you having a vaccine that's 95% effective versus everyone having it is huge. If you have the vaccine and nobody else does, and it's 95% effective, it means that 1 out of 20 times that you interact with someone with the virus in a situation where you could get the virus, 1 out of 20, you will get the virus. If you go back to normal work indoors without masks and interact with a lot of people, you can quickly understand how a 1 in 20 shot at getting the virus, even when vaccinated, still leaves you quite vulnerable. If everybody has a 5% chance of getting it from everyone they interact to, by definition, you are talking about herd immunity, and that is a very, very different thing. The only upside, my last thought on this, the only upside to 40% of the country not wanting a vaccine is that it means a vaccine may be available for those who do want them sooner. In other words, me as someone who is not high priority on the vaccine list, if everybody wants a vaccine, I might not be able to get one until, I don't know, May, June even. If only 60% of the country want vaccines, it's plausible I could end up with a vaccine in February or March, although overall society will be less protected. That's the only upside I can see for the people like me who are waiting for a vaccine. Let me know what you think. We will have more on vaccines later this week. And of course, you can find me on Twitter @DPakman. For a limited time, our sponsor, PureVPN, is offering you a huge 86% discount on a subscription, which comes out to only about $1.50 per month. PureVPN makes you anonymous when you're browsing online, and you can trust them because they're the only VPN in the industry with an always-on third-party audit to verify that your internet activity is not being logged. By hiding your IP address, PureVPN keeps you safe from hackers and prevents you from being spied on by your internet service provider, social media companies, and even government surveillance. It also lets you watch shows and movies that aren't available in your country. PureVPN is super fast. You can use it on all of your devices. And I can tell you firsthand, the app is really easy to use. And they have 6,500 servers across the world, which is more than any other VPN in the industry. Everyone should be using a VPN when connecting to the internet, and now is the perfect time to start because PureVPN is giving you an 86% discount on a subscription, which comes out to only about $1.50 a month. Go to davidpakman.com/purevpn. The link is underneath this video.